So you're born in ancient Crete, around 1450 BCE. And congratulations, you've already won the worst lottery in mythological history. Your dad? Poseidon's sacred bull. Your mom? Queen Pasiphae, daughter of god Helios. Yep, literal sun royalty, who literally commissioned a wooden cow to, well, let's just say your conception involved more carpentry than romance. And here's the kicker. This wasn't even your mom's fault. Your grandfather Poseidon cursed her because your stepdad, King Minos, decided to keep the god's bull instead of sacrificing it. Imagine if your step-parents' tax evasion resulted in you being born looking like a Minotaur. That's basically what happened here, except instead of the IRS, it was the literal god of the sea having a temper tantrum. Your birth name? Asterion, meaning the Starry One. Pretty ironic, considering you'll spend your entire life in the darkest underground maze ever constructed. It's like naming your kids Sunny and then locking them in a basement forever. From day one, everyone's horrified by you. Not because you're evil, you literally haven't done anything yet, but because you're living proof of divine punishment and your mom's cursed bestial affair. Your stepdad Minos takes one look at you and basically goes, "Nope, not dealing with this family drama." So what does dear old stepdaddy do? He commissions Daedalus, basically the Tony Stark of ancient Greece, to build you a custom home. Sounds nice, right? Wrong. This home is the Labyrinth, a maze so complex that even GPS would give up and cry. Think about this logically. Instead of family therapy, adoption services, or even just talking to you, they decided the best solution was solitary confinement in an architecturally impossible puzzle. It's like your parents dealing with your teenage rebellion by hiring Christopher Nolan to design your bedroom. Daedalus creates this masterpiece of psychological torture with winding corridors, dead ends, and chambers designed to confuse anyone who enters. The ancient equivalent of IKEA, except you can never leave and there's no Swedish meatballs. Just you, alone, getting more and more isolated and resentful as the years pass. And here's the beautiful irony. The same architect who trapped you will later try to escape Crete using wax wings. His son Icarus flies too close to the sun and dies. So the guy who designed your eternal prison can't even successfully jailbreak himself. Classic. Now, being trapped in a maze is bad enough, but you still need to eat. And this is where your life goes from unfortunate circumstances to absolute horror show. Because apparently, someone decided you needed a diet of human sacrifices. You see, your stepdad Minos had a son named Androgeus, basically a star athlete who was absolutely crushing it at the ancient Olympics. This kid goes to Athens for the Panathenaic Games and absolutely dominates every competition. Think Michael Phelps, but with javelins and wrestling. So naturally, what do the Athenians do when faced with superior athletic performance? They murder him. Either out of jealousy or because King Aegeus was paranoid about this Cretan superstar getting too popular. Classic ancient Greek sportsmanship. Can't beat them? Kill them. Minos finds out his golden boy son is dead and absolutely loses it. He wages war on Athens, wins decisively, and then comes up with the most psychologically devastating punishment possible. Instead of just demanding gold or territory like a normal conqueror, he goes, "You know what? My monster stepson needs to eat, and your people need to learn consequences." Every 7 to 9 years, sources vary, because even ancient historians couldn't keep track of this insanity, Athens has to send 14 young people as tribute. 7 young men, 7 young women, all from noble families, all about to become your dinner. It's like having a meal delivery service, except the meals are traumatized teenagers, the delivery schedule is completely unpredictable, and the whole system exists because of ancient sports-related drama. But here's the thing that really makes this suck. There's no evidence you wanted to eat people. You're trapped, isolated, probably suffering from severe psychological trauma, and then they start sending you human beings as food. It's like the worst possible combination of solitary confinement and forced cannibalism. These tributes arrive terrified, lost in your maze, and you're expected to... what exactly? Be grateful? Make small talk before dinner? Hey, how's Athens? Still democratically electing leaders? Cool. Sorry I have to eat you now. It's not personal. Let's talk about the mental health implications here, because this situation is basically a masterclass in creating a monster through environmental factors. You're born different, immediately rejected by your family, locked in isolation, fed a diet that would traumatize anyone, and never given a single chance at normal socialization. You never learned to read, never had friends, never experienced love, art, music, or literally any positive human experience. Your entire world is stone corridors and the occasional terrified person stumbling through your home before you kill them for food. Modern psychology would have a field day with this case study. Reactive attachment disorder, extreme social isolation, probable psychosis. You're basically what happens when you take every known factor for creating antisocial behavior and combine them into one mythological nightmare. And the worst part? Everyone acts like you're the monster, not the system that created you, not the people who decided human sacrifice was a reasonable feeding solution, not the stepfather who chose architecture over therapy. No, you're the problem because you have horns and happen to be really good at navigating your own prison. So after years of this nightmare routine, along comes Theseus, Prince of Athens, hero in training, basically the ancient Greek equivalent of a Marvel protagonist. He volunteers for the tribute mission, which should be your cue that this day is about to go very, very badly for you. But wait, it gets worse. Theseus gets help. Princess Ariadne, yes, your half-sister, falls in love for Athens' golden boy and decides to help him. She hands him a ball of thread with step-by-step instructions like it's a Labyrinth IKEA manual. Tie the end at the entrance, unwind as you go, kill the roommate, follow the line back to daylight. It's not just string, it's a literal lifeline, a breadcrumb trail that doesn't blow away, a return route baked into the mission plan. And if he hits a dead end, he just backtracks along the same thread. No guesswork, no panic. Like an old-school GPS with zero battery drain. Where did she get the idea? From Daedalus, the maze's architect, who quietly leaks the pro tip that surviving the labyrinth is less genius mapping and more leave yourself away home. Ariadne doesn't give Theseus courage, she gives him process. And because humiliation loves company, she doesn't just hand him yarn. Some tellings of the myth say she adds a sword and even a light-bearing crown. So your assassin shows up with a homing beacon, a weapon upgrade, and headlamps. It's like your landlord passing burglars a key, a floor plan, and a flashlight. So Theseus enters your labyrinth. He ties the thread to the doorpost, hands the bundle to a waiting Athenian to keep tension, then walks forward. No left, no right rules, just method. Silence, footsteps, stone, your breath echoing off the walls. When he finds you, the line is already stretched behind him, a straight promise, I will not die here. You finally encounter someone who's not cowering in terror. This might be the first real conversation you've had in decades. Except there's no conversation because he immediately tries to murder you. Such a hero, right? You rush. He doesn't run, he steps in. One hand on your horn, the other drives a short blade straight to the throat. Fast, ugly, final. The thread was the plan. The kill was instinct. Here's the real tragedy. Theseus is celebrated as a hero for killing you. Not for ending a cruel system of human sacrifice, not for addressing the root causes of the problem, but specifically for murdering someone who was essentially a victim of circumstance. Think about it. You never chose to be born, never chose to be trapped, never chose your diet, never chose isolation. You were literally a prisoner your entire life. And when someone finally puts you out of your misery, he gets the glory, while you're remembered as a monster. Meanwhile, Theseus gets a girlfriend out of the deal, your sister, escapes from Crete, and becomes king of Athens after his father commits suicide because Theseus forgot to change his sails from black to white. So the hero who killed you can't even remember simple sailing instructions, but somehow he's the good guy in this story. And this is where it gets really insulting. Your story becomes a metaphor for civilization triumphing over chaos, intelligence defeating brute force, heroes conquering monsters. But you weren't chaos. You were abandoned. You weren't brute force. You were isolated. You weren't a monster. You were a victim. For thousands of years, artists, writers, and filmmakers have used your image to represent evil that needs defeating. Video games make you a boss fight. Movies make you a jump scare. Nobody stops to ask, hey, what if the Minotaur was just really, really lonely and angry about being trapped in architectural therapy? Your story is basically every cautionary tale about systemic failure rolled into one mythological nightmare. You're the kid who falls through the cracks of social services, the person failed by mental health systems, the individual sacrificed to maintain social order. In today's terms, you'd be trending on social media with hashtags like Justice for Asterion and Labyrinth Life. There'd be think pieces about how your story represents the dehumanization of mental illness, the criminalization of trauma responses, and the way society creates its own monsters through neglect and abuse. So yeah, it absolutely sucked to be the Minotaur. You were born into an impossible situation, abandoned by your family, trapped in isolation, fed a diet of human sacrifice, and ultimately murdered by the guy who gets celebrated as a hero in every retelling. Your story isn't about good versus evil. It's about what happens when society fails its most vulnerable members and then blames them for the inevitable consequences. The real monsters in this story are the systems and people who created you, not the creature who suffered through it all. Next time someone mentions the Minotaur, remember Asterion, the starry one who never got to see the stars, trapped in darkness by people who should have helped him find the light. If you enjoyed this deep dive into mythological injustice, hit that like button and subscribe for more Why It Sucked content. And let me know in the comments, which mythological figure's terrible life should we explore next?